Men of Reddit, what are some immediate red flags in men that women should look out for? If a guy tells you he's no good, listen. Should ran when mine said I'm not like other guys. I'm worse. Pretty much anything you look at and think, I can fix him. Or allegedly. But he won't do that with slash to me. No you can't. And yes he will. True. Additionally, just the urge to fix him is also toxic emo. You love people for who they are, not who you want them to be. Holes in the drywall. Run. In my defense, the hole came from leaning on it. Not enough framing. Pushing small boundaries. That aren't a big deal. Then, once called out on it, backpedaling. Apologizing for it, and then doing it again. My old boss and current supervisor. Yeah. I find it fascinating that an abusive relationship with a boss can be very similar to an abusive relationship with a partner. In the end, they're both relationships. Thanks for saying that out loud. I've recently come out of an abusive relationship with a boss and I've never found anyone who understands what I went through, except for the Eminem song 25 to Life in which he describes his relationship to hip hop. Most people are like yeah just quit, but it's not that easy. I was stuck in that relationship for 7 years. 7 effing years of my life I tried it all. Everything I did to fix it, but no he just kept effing playing with me as if it was for his amusement. He promised me so much and always took it away. I don't know why someone would do that. I still don't understand. I feel for his bullshit so many times I can't even count. A year ago almost exactly today, I finally just left, and before I did I took all my physical work samples, smashed it into a box, making it impossible to recover because everything was originally labeled and now just lying there smashed in the box. Left the box in my office, then proceeded by emailing the boss, his boss and ours, to go burn in hell and do not ever contact me ever again. And then I went home, crashed completely. Had to go to the doctor and tell them I'm probably gonna die today if you do not help me, and help she gave me medication, therapy. The idea of rage quitting is more satisfying than actually doing it. I've had to restart my entire life. I also resented myself a lot because I thought I had more self-respect than to get stuck in an abusive relationship. I didn't know you could develop one with your boss. It'd been a year and I like myself so much more nowadays. I recently got a new job. I'm starting in 2 weeks, and I'm honestly a bit nervous about some of the PTSD things I still have going on. My new boss seems nice though. Still got a lot of life to live. F nasty bosses, it's not worth it for anything. I also resented myself a lot because I thought I had more self-respect than to get stuck in an abusive relationship. That is a key aspect of abusive relationships that most people don't recognize. Being the victim in one is intuitively shameful, and it takes a lot of careful reasoning to realize that it isn't. Inability to compromise. Huge. The sole reason for my divorce. People ask all the time why, if we seem so great together we broke up. Decade marriage. It became impossible to live and be with him. His way or no way. I can't live like that. Sounds like my dad. You either have to accept that he is right, or drop it and never mention it again. Otherwise he'll scream things like I'm your father. You're a fool. How dare you? Did everyone just have the same father? Tried to find a less common one. For people looking for a long-term partner, beware when someone complains about everything and is seemingly the victim in every situation. This is a type of person that will very quickly blame you if anything goes wrong, and is likely shitting on you to other people already. Secondly, it means you will be perpetually drained by the negativity over the long haul. I think I used to be like that. I went through some mess alright, but I think it became just a very good excuse. I got better by taking as much responsibility as I could. This by trying to be as honest as I could. Like I'd fight with my wife, and it started out, in my head, as she's wrong, I'm right. But I tried to honestly ask myself, even if she was wrong, how many percent the escalation was my fault? Like could there be something, anything at all that I could have done better to make the situation better? Turn out when you ask this question, damn the answer is yes. Almost always. It's hard work, but my wife and I are still together. I heard someone say, when you're arguing with your partner it shouldn't be you vs your partner. It should be you and your partner vs the problem. Like you said, in almost every situation that leads to a fight, both parties are to some extent responsible. And if both people can identify where their responsibility lies and works to better themselves, it will help your relationship immensely. Me and my wife both grew up with parents that fought each other to win, and it often got nasty. And in an effort to not end up like that, we have solved a lot of problems in our marriage by working together. When you're arguing with your partner, it shouldn't be you vs your partner. It should be you and your partner vs the problem. I love that approach. Something I try to keep in mind is a kinda cliched thing from Covey's 7 Habits book: seek first to understand, then be understood. I often find that if someone's upset, me, a partner, I may not fully understand the nature of the problem. Asking questions and trying to understand with empathy is part of working with a partner to fix a problem. Yeah. Sometimes I'll comment that doesn't make any sense, then pause and clarify. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean that in a rude way. I'm really confused and just want to understand your perspective. Can we try again? And hopefully repeat patiently enough so I can fully understand their side before non-combatively presenting my viewpoint. Not as a juxtaposition to prove fault, but as one to clarify a mutual misunderstanding or problem for us both to examine. Suddenly flying off the handle at a minor inconvenience. It's one thing to stub your toe at the end of a bad day and give the table a whack. It's another if every moment of stress or misfortune triggers rage. I was dating a girl and forgot to lock her car door when we got out to go into a Walgreens for some snacks. She absolutely lost it, like screaming and crying. For about 20 minutes. I just sat silently, took it, and then asked to meet her the next day and broke up with her because I was not comfortable with that explosion over anything. Especially a mistake that I could have easily just started paying more attention to. Oh, I see you dated my ex-fiancé. We broke up after she had a screaming temper tantrum in Walmart over towels. What happened with towels? We were working on a wedding registry, and as two broke college students I felt that putting useful things on our registry or towels that would be solely used as decorative towels. Her logic was they were gifts, and she started screaming that while stomping her foot. Anger management issues. Holes in drywall. Being in fights despite never looking for them. Or even toad rage. This is a red flag on its own. But it gets worse when getting defensive about it. Oh, I got mad when X, Y, Z happened. But I didn't hurt anyone is a half step away from my hit person when X, Y, Z happened. Someone so easily angered has all the ability in the world to be physically abusive. I've seen this as early as high school, and these are the assholes who never grow up and face the unfair acts of the world with a plan. They simply react and never advance. They move along or worse, regress. These are also the first ones to gaslight anyone in an embarrassing situation. These types are always right and everyone else is wrong. But I have a great sense of humor. Edit, I'm leaving toad rage in there. Sure, they can hate toads as much as traffic. F them toads. Nothing infuriates me more than toads. F//CK toads. Whoa, major red flag here, ladies. Only talks about themselves. Hi, what's your name? / you Bob. Great. But that's enough about you. Bruce, let's talk about me. / enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me? You. I wanna talk about me. I wanna talk about I. How does he speak about others? Especially past loves. Especially ones that went wrong. If he dated 23 crazy bitches, you're gonna be number 24. What's his lifestyle? If it's bars and clubs every single week, sometimes multiple times a week, don't expect stability. How does he manage communication when frustrated? Is he lashing out at you with blame and anger? That's gonna come out often and accelerate as time goes on. And this one is for everyone. The beginning of any relationship is the easiest it will ever be. If it's a rocky start, is more than likely gonna be a rocky ride. Emotional manipulation. Trying to guilt trap you. To give an example, I was hearing from a friend who's a woman currently dating, telling you that you're being jealous when they are intentionally creating situations which would cause that. This guy in particular was continually describing past experiences with girls and how aspects of that were better than what my friend had with him currently. That example also falls into trying to damage and hurt your self-esteem and break down your self-worth, so you rely on them for validation. A very toxic trait. Also always being negative in regards to wife/girlfriend and to good things that happen to her might be a pessimistic person. But if it happens constantly, that can hurt emotionally and damage the partner's self-esteem. Example, wife, remember that job I was interviewed for? I got accepted. Abusive husband, they hired you just so they can pay you minimum wage because of you not having prior experience in the job, so your rate is cheaper. Edit. The example is an actual conversation. This is just sad. Your partner needs to be your hype man/woman. Avoid people who are very polite and charming when they want something from those above them, but are arrogant and demanding when they think they can take something from those below them. People who smile up and kick down are the worst. Yep, you can tell a lot about the character of anyone by the way they treat those they don't have to treat well. Along the lines of character is who you are in the dark. How you are when you don't have anyone checking you. When nobody's checking, I'm in my PJs, watching YouTube cookery shows and eating an entire cheesecake. When people are checking, I'll share the cheesecake. Begrudgingly. You and I must be the same person. Have you watched Tasting History with Maximum Miller? It's my favorite. If he talks about his ex too much, as someone who was in love with an ex for way too long, I was not ready for a relationship with anyone else. Some red flags are not signs the person is malicious. Sometimes they are signs they are not ready for a new relationship. That can be really painful too, because they may have lots of great qualities and none of the obvious red flags. Like eventually they will be someone who will be a great partner. So you stay for longer than you should, hoping they become ready for that new relationship while dating you. But truth is, most people don't get to that point while in a new relationship. You usually have to get there on your own. It's entirely possible to meet someone who should be a great match for you, but be a painful and bad relationship to actually date them because of the timing. Yeah. But at that point you need to recognize it early and just let them know, hey, I think you are really great, but you clearly aren't over X. We can be friends, and someday when you are over them maybe we can try again if we are both still single. Apostrophe. Keep an eye out for insincere apologies. I'm sorry you feel that way or something similar is not an apology. Can't take no as an answer. Acting as if fucking the whole world is an achievement. If someone actually fucked the whole world, let's be honest, that would be impressive. I mean, I did. It's easy. Just dig a hole in the ground and go to town. That is very impressive. Sexual pressure after you directly reject an advance. Healthy people with your interests in mind only need to hear no one time and are respectful of boundaries if they bring it up again in the future. This is very true. Controlling tendencies. Same for women tbh. I work in a bar. Seen a lot of first date happening. I remember that one couple came at my bar for the first date. They played pool. The guy was showing her how to play. At first it may look cute, but he was constantly telling her how to play, where to aim on the white ball. When she missed, he was taking the white ball back, replace it until she hit the way he told her to. Every single time. My mind went, oh girl, hope you wake up, because you will be in a lot of trouble. Well, sadly they end up together. They came back at my bar couple of time and boy, he treated her like crap. Guy was absolutely toxic. If you go to a bar for your date, sit at the bar. When the guy will go to the bathroom, feel free to ask us what we think. We see things that you might not. And feel free to ask for help if you feel uncomfortable or in bad situations. We will help you. I just went through this. Pool and everything. Guy I was seeing was just unable to let me practice on my own. Always needed to correct something about my grip or posture, and finally I just quit going to play with him. It's only fun if it's fun, you know? And yes, the control thing did bleed into other aspects of the relationship. And yes, I didn't really notice until we broke up and I looked back. I'm very sorry you had to go through this kind of situations. Hope you find someone that will treat you right. If he doesn't respect your boundaries, if he doesn't respect consent, if he makes you feel any less of a person than you feel when you're not around him, if it looks, smells, and waves in the wind like a fucking red flag, treat it as such. It's not worth the risk. Refusing to admit that they could possibly be wrong. I have seen many men get super frustrated and aggressive over the idea that they could be possibly wrong about something. To add on to this, many of these same men, when presented with the proof of them being wrong, they will either deflect or make it seem like it doesn't matter and that you were making such a big deal about this. We are all humans and we all make mistakes. I feel for many of these men, they feel stupid and less manly if they are wrong about something. Being able to accept your mistakes and move on is a healthy trait. The opposite side of this is far worse. Someone who gaslights you into believing that you never admit that you're wrong or don't admit to your flaws. When someone is stubborn and won't admit they are wrong when they clearly are, it's obvious to everyone, and it's easy to know when you should just walk away. When someone tries to convince you that you are stubborn and never admit to being wrong, even when you do, and that they are the one who keeps having to do it, it can become very difficult to see through their bullshit and you can start to doubt your own self-awareness. I think my ex used to do that to me, but I'm not sure, as even many months later, I still doubt myself and can't decide if I was in the wrong or him. This is one most women learn themselves around high school, but still worth mentioning now. If he's an asshole to everyone but you, that doesn't mean he thinks you're special. It means he is an asshole, but knows how to not be an asshole in order to get laid. Even if he treats you different now, he will treat you the same way he treats everyone else eventually. Lesson learned. That's not necessarily true. He could treat you even worse, because now he's tricked you. You showed me what you feigned to be, beguiled me from afar, and I was too deceived to see the thing you really are. You knew the pleasing words to say to keep at bay the doubt, and all the while, you worked your way between the pathways out. And when your mask began to ebb, I learned at last too late, you had me in your spider's web, and I had loved your bait. This really resonates with me and how I felt in a previous abusive relationship. Thank you Sprog for creating something about an emotional experience that's so hard to put into words.